Alright, I'm going to clean up my rod and reels here, and I'm going to kind of go over them a little bit and show y'all what I'm using, and show you that you don't have to use real expensive rod and reels to catch fish. You can catch fish with $30 rod and reels, $30 to $50 rod and reels. You can catch all the fish. You can catch more fish than a lot of people that are fishing with $200 and $300 rod and reels. So I'm going to wash these off a little bit. We get a lot of sand on them fishing on the beaches. So they've gotten rained on a little bit too. That's kind of helped wash them off. So I'm going to wash them off good again and make sure we get a lot of sand off of them and stuff. Some of the places we fish, we don't really get them dirty, don't really get sand on them, but they still get all the salt water on them. So I like to rinse them off really good with water and then let them sit and dry just a little bit. I'm heading from a little different angle here. And then I'll go over them here in a minute and show you what we're using. Some of these are a little more expensive than the others. You don't have to use a real expensive rod and reel to catch a lot of fish. Alright, I'm going to let them dry a little bit. Alright, so we're going to let these dry off some out here in the sun. And it's warm today, so the cold front come through. Actually, a couple of cold fronts came through here recently. And it's warming back up now though. It's been warm the last couple of days. So it looks like it might be a little while before the next cold front comes through again. It's not really a cold front, it's more of a cool front. It just takes away the humidity and keeps the temperature really nice. Takes away the humidity too. Alright, I'm going to show y'all what I'm using here while I'm wiping them down with some WD-40. Show you what we're using. So I'm going to bring the camera in a little bit closer. Okay, so these two are my twins. These are the ones that I named them Eagle Eye Annie. And actually on my last video, or actually the video I made where I titled it Eagle Eye Annie, in the description I put down these were Pursuit 2, but I was wrong. I don't know why I put that in there. These are Fierce 2. They're both Fierce 2, Penn Fierce 2s. Both the same. They're 8-foot rods with moderate fast action, and it says 20 to 40 pound braid, and I actually use 20 pound braid on them. But to show you, like I got one set up with the popping cork and a leader, about a 2-foot leader, and then a 1/0 circle hook. And then the other one, in my last couple of videos, I'm using I made a dropper rig. So I made a dropper rig that I've been using, and I've actually got I put the float on it and the little bead, and a 1/0 circle hook. And then down here, this is one that I changed out, so I just had a circle hook on it. I'll just change it out real quick while we were down there fishing. And then I have my piece at the bottom here, my loop at the bottom for putting the weight on. So I can take the weight off for transporting them, so my weight's not just banging against my rod. But this is what I'm using here. This is my Penn Pursuit 2. I only have one of these. But I've caught a couple bass with it. And I've caught some other fish, some saltwater fish. And I have my dropper rig on it. This one I have the 2 lines with the float and the bead and the 1/0 circle hook. And then my loop that goes down to the bottom to put my weight on. This is a Penn Pursuit 2. This one's also an 8-foot rod. The same as the other one. 20 to 40 pound braid. I use 20 pound braid on it. So I'll throw a couple pictures in here too, some of the fish I've caught with it. So I'm fixing to wipe these down good with some WD-40. So I'm going to show you what Winnette's been using. Winnette's been using the Shakespeare rod with the Shakespeare Ugly Stick. And this is a 7-foot rod with medium to heavy action. And it says 15 to 30 pound line. I've got 20 pound braid on hers also. And this is the one she uses mostly with the popping cork. And then about a 2-foot leader. Hers is a little bit over 2 foot. And then the 1/0 circle hook. So that's a pretty good rod and reel. She's caught some nice fish with that. And then this is a new rod and reel that we just bought for her recently. And I put 10 pound braid on it. The 10 pound braid will cast really far. But this is also a Shakespeare with the Ugly Stick. These are really good rods here. The Shakespeare Ugly Sticks are really good rods. And it's the Shakespeare reel. It's a rod and reel combo. So this was about $50 at Gander RV. So this is a really good rod for her to use. And another thing I'll show you real quick on here is balancing your rod. You want to get your put your finger on here and get it about where it's balanced, and then that's where you want to hold it. So she can hold that rod and reel right here, and she can use this all day long comfortably and not get tired. And then we use the spinning reels too because they're easy to use and they cast really far. And this one I've got a leader, and I've got a Doc's Goofy jig on it. I caught a couple of fish on using these out there at the beach at Treasure Island. So I'm trying to use these a little bit more fishing on the beach because they're really good for pompano and whitings and stuff like that. And a lot of other fish will hit them. And I use a FG knot. So if you can see that, I use a FG knot. That'll go through the guides really easy, really smooth, and it's very strong. It's a very strong braid to monofilament or braid to leader. Very strong knot, the FG knot. And then on these, I usually use a multi-knot on these, like tying the hook. So sometimes I'll use the improved clinch knot. The improved clinch knot is a knot that I learned when I was a kid, and I've been pretty much using all my life fishing. It works really good. So I got two different knots there that I'll use. And then we have two of these. These are the Blair Wiggins Addictive Fishing. These are inshore speed sticks. These are 7-foot rods. And this is a rod and reel combination. These are really good. The rods are really good. He did a lot of testing in his videos. He talks about how he tested like 300 different rods before he got to what he liked as far as being really strong. But these have worked really good for us. We caught a lot of fish with these. And then I want to show you these. These are a couple of rod and reels that we've had for a while. We've had these longer. These are Shakespeare. These are rod and reel combinations. These are 7-foot rods with the medium action. And I've got 20-pound monofilament on these. This is just a $40 rod and reel. You can catch fish. You can catch all kinds of fish with these. I'll show you here on the video too. I'll throw the picture in of a Spanish mackerel that I caught on the Skyway fishing pier with this rod and reel here. This is the biggest Spanish mackerel I ever caught. I've caught a lot of Spanish mackerels. We used to go to Fort DeSoto a lot and catch Spanish mackerels out there a lot too. And we were using Shakespeare rod and reel combinations out there too. Just $30, $40 rod and reels. And caught all kinds of fish out there. Bluefish, blue runners, Spanish mackerels, jacks. We caught all kinds of fish out there like that. Sea trout, redfish. So I'll throw a few pictures in here too. So some of the fish we were catching back then just using these rods. So all you need is like a $40 rod and reel and you can catch fish. So that'll catch all kinds of fish. Because you want to let the rod do all the work. You want to let the rod work and pull them with the rod, and then just use your reel to reel in the slack. So as you're bringing them in, you want to pull your rod up, pull them into you, pull the fish to you, and then reel in your slack as you go down, and then work the rod and work the fish into you, and then as you take the rod down, reel in your slack. Alright, so I'm going to continue wiping these down. They're almost dry now from hitting them with the water. So I'm going to take a few minutes and wipe them down good with the WD-40. So all I do is just take my rag and the WD-40 and wet my rag down good. Then I'll take and wipe the rod down really good with it. I hit my lures and hooks with it sometimes. I hit the eyes with it. The WD-40 will keep these in really good shape for years. Just a few minutes of maintenance on your rod and reel. They'll keep it working really good for a long time. And I've always heard too that using the WD-40 on it, it takes the human scent off of it. So I'll just wipe them down really good, so it only takes a few minutes. So I'll do them all like that. I'll do the popping corks. Wipe all the eyes down and the rod. Any of the metal, like these popping corks out of the metal line. I'll hit the hooks too. So the WD-40 helps clean them up good, and then helps seal them too and keep water out of them. And keep them lasting a long time. So these rod and reels will last a long time. We'll need to get a lot of use out of this, keeping it, a little bit of maintenance on it. Alright, I'm going to keep wiping these down. So this is a Slam Shady from Salt Strong, and this is a Salt Strong. The jig head is the Salt Strong jig head. It's a 3/16 jig head. So we've been starting to try this a couple times. In their videos, they show that these won't change color underwater. Salt Strong does some really good videos. They do a lot of fishing videos. You can go in there and watch and learn a lot of stuff from their videos. And you know, for free, you don't have to join their fishing club. You can watch a lot of their videos and learn a lot about saltwater fishing. But their lures here, the Slam Shadies, they show how they don't change color underwater like some of the other fishing lures do, which would scare the fish off. And then these are the 3/16 jig heads. They have like 3 different sizes of jig heads. So they have 3 different sizes of jig heads that they use, that they sell. So I'll get these wiped down good. I've watched a lot of Blair Wiggins shows. His addictive fishing show is really good show to watch. You can go online on YouTube and watch them. You can catch them on TV. I used to watch them on TV for a long time, and then once I really started watching YouTube a lot, I found him on YouTube, and he's on YouTube, he's on Facebook, Addictive Fishing. He does a lot of fishing. He shows what he uses, so you can learn a lot from him too. So I like wiping the jigs and hooks down too, as well as all my eyes and everything. With this WD-40, keep them looking good, keep them in good shape for a long time. So these are made by Lew's, and they got his name on them, Captain Blair Wiggins. So this is a 300 reel. These rods are 7'6" with a medium action. Actually, you can see right here. (7'6" and 8 to 20 pound line. I got 10 pound monofilament, or I've got 10 pound braid on these. Yeah, 10 pound braid. And they're power, medium, fast action. 7'6". So these are really good rod and reels. I think those are around $100 for the rod and reel combo. This Shakespeare we just bought at Gander RV was $50 for the combo. And then this Shakespeare combo here, it was around $50, $50 to $60, I believe. We've had them for we've had that one for 3 or 4 years now. We've had these Shakespeare combos here a little bit longer than that. We've had these 4 to 5 years. And this is what I was using when I caught that big Spanish mackerel on the Skyway fishing pier. I caught my very first Spanish mackerel on the Skyway fishing pier years ago, a long time ago. Back when me and Wynette were had just got married, or just after we'd got married. I've got a few old pictures from back then that when we were out there fishing. So I caught my very first Spanish mackerel out there on the Skyway fishing pier. And then here a couple of years ago I caught my biggest Spanish mackerel ever out there on the Skyway fishing pier. So I think that's pretty cool that I caught my first one there and I caught my biggest one there. And we've caught a lot of them out at Fort DeSoto. I've caught quite a few off the Skyway fishing pier. Caught a lot of them out at Fort DeSoto. Caught some at Anna Maria Island. And the monofilament works good too. You don't have to use nothing expensive. This is 20-pound monofilament. Monofilament stretches a little, but you want some kind of stretch. That's why if you use braid, you want to use a monofilament or a fluorocarbon leader, so you get a little bit of stretch there when the fish hits it. That way it won't just break your braid off. So watching a lot of the Salt Strong videos, and they do a lot of testing on fishing line, fishing knots, leaders, leader material, different lures. They've got some videos now where they took them a whole year to do a lot of underwater videos of different lures and how the lure looks, and the live bait and how the live bait looks underwater. So that's pretty cool, and they do a lot of testing too. So he was finding that the monofilament's actually working better and is cheaper than the fluorocarbon leaders. And they were testing a lot of the knots. They were finding the FG knot is one of the best knots for braid to the leader material. That was having a lot better, doing a lot better in their tests than some of the other knots. So they got some really good videos. Alright, so I'm going to stop here. I got a couple more rods here to wipe down. We were getting some sand on these. I noticed, especially when we were out there on the beaches, I was noticing we were getting some sand on them, so I wanted to make sure I got them washed off really good. Now these rod and reels here, the Pinfierce 2, these ran us around, these were around $160, $170 for the combinations. But that's what I was wanting to show in my videos here. You don't have to have more expensive rods like this, or even more. There's a lot of rod and reels that are a lot more than that. You'd pay at least that for just the reel itself. So you don't have to have real expensive stuff. You can catch a lot of fish with just those $40, $50 rod and reels. You can get you a combo, and they work really good for catching fish. When I first started using this rod and reel here, I caught my first snook. I've been fishing all my life, saltwater fishing all my life. I've caught all kinds of saltwater fish. But I caught my first snook about 3 years ago when I first bought this rod and reel. And this was the first time I took this rod and reel fishing, I was catching all kinds of fish. The snook, flounder, mangrove snappers, white grunts. I was catching a bunch of different fish like that. So I named her Eagle Eye Annie, because she was liking to catching fish. You gotta watch too, cleaning these. These are owner circle hooks, and I caught my finger a while ago on it. It was bleeding just a little bit. But it's just not much. It'll be healed in a couple days. But these are pretty sharp hooks, and I like the Eagle Claw the Eagle Claw laser hooks, laser cut hooks. Those are really good hooks and sharp. Mustad makes really good circle hooks, and they're good and strong. So these 1/0 circle hooks are not real big, but everything we've been catching that holds them. I've only had a couple of the hooks that were bent out some from catching the really big fish, the snook or the redfish that are really pretty good size. We caught those bonnethead sharks with these hooks. They hold really good. So as you can see, these are the Penfish 2, and these are the 4000 series here. And the rod is the Penfish 2. So we got these in combo. I really like using these. And again, as far as balancing it, about right there, that's balanced. So I can hold that rod and reel right there all day long fishing, and it doesn't really tire my arm out. The only time my arm really gets tired is just keeping my elbow bent a lot. But as you can see, that's balanced right there. So I can fish holding it right there all day long and not get tired. So the Penfish 2, I really like these. And these are the 4000 series and the 8-foot rod. Eight-foot moderate fast action rod, and I use the 20-pound braid on them. So another thing too with like Salt Strong doing all this tests, they're finding that the fishing line is actually not breaking. A lot of people say their line broke. It's actually the knot that's breaking. All of their tests are showing that it's the knot breaking and not the actual fishing line. Here's another little tip too. I take these bread ties where I have my dropper rig with 2 lines on it. So I got one hook down here, and then my other one to keep it from swinging loosely. I'll take a bread tie and tie it to the rod so it can't go nowhere. I did that one like that, and then this one here will have the dropper rig. So I have the hook here on the little bar, and then I take and put a bread tie on there to fasten the other hook down so it can't swing around. And like I said, I take the weight off so the weight's not bouncing around and hitting the rod and beating it up. Another little tip there, you can use anything like that, bread ties. You can use like one guy shows in his videos that he uses little velcro straps the little Velcro straps, stuff like that. Anything like that works good.